Alright my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I want to talk about the difficulties and issues of upgrading your platform from AM5 to from AM4 to AM5. As you know, I did the upgrade yesterday. I went through, obviously I ran into some complications. Some of you eagle-eyed freaking guys are amazing. You guys noticed it too. I mean, I noticed it, but you guys noticed it immediately that my CPU temp was running very high. Well, let me explain why. Well, let me talk to it. Let me tell you guys how I caught it before I see your guys' comments, and then we'll go over what was actually going on. I mean, as you can see, well, maybe here it's running now. I got it fixed. It was actually a pretty small problem, but we'll go over that, and then we'll talk about like some of the other things. We'll talk about the anxiety of going through and upgrading, and you know, all the different steps and all of that kind of stuff. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for watching these. You guys are amazing. We're already over 1,000 views on the on that video, so that is awesome. I greatly appreciate that support. You guys are freaking incredible. But I want so let's bring this back to square one and talk about what was wrong, what was the issue. So what happened is I put all that together with my specific AIO, the MSI 240, whatever the freak it is, it's 240 millimeter one. It comes with a pump fan, or it comes with a pump plug, and then there's also the two fans, obviously, and they were split into the splitter that comes with it. It comes with the little splitter, and is what I was doing last night is I had zip tied, you know, the things up on the top so they would stay out of my way, so that I could, you know, kind of rerun my wires and everything, because I wanted to make it look a lot better. Well, is what happened is when I was going to put the stuff back on, the top of the lip where that thing kind of just hangs over, the way I had it zip tied, it wouldn't let the other plug go down far enough to where I could see it, so I wasn't able to get that plugged in, and and I couldn't even see it. I literally couldn't even see it with the flashlight when I was in there looking, because it was kind of tucked right behind like right behind the motherboard, just far enough to where I couldn't see it. So when I started thinking about it, I was like, wait a minute. You know, somebody in the community, you know, they sent me a video, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch another video and look at that. And then once I saw like the unboxing and the, you know, putting it together, and I was like, oh gosh, dude, I'm so dumb. So what happens is, like, you got the two fan wires, obviously the two fan cables that will go into each fan. I mean, you can put those on to their very own separate fan header if you want to, but mine actually comes with a pigtail, so the pigtails, so you can put it into one, so you can run the pump fan and the CPU fan side by side. You can run the pump and the fan side by side. And so when I was looking and I was seeing, like, in the BIOS and everything, I was actually seeing the pump actually running, but there was no fan support for that because I did not have it plugged in. So that's amazing that you guys caught that. If I wouldn't have caught it, but now I'm going to tell you guys how I caught it. I was playing Ghost of Tsushima. I was checking that out, and I noticed that I was like 85, 90 frames per second, and I looked in there and I saw that my fans weren't running in there. So what I did was I tried another game and then another game, and this is why you guys were watching the video, or actually, no, this was before the video even went live. I didn't put the video out until about 2 a.m. So I had already known about this before I'd even went to bed. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I got to figure that out. And it just never occurred to me. And sometimes, guys, in PC, this is crazy. Like, these are the things that you'll run into. Putting a new build together is significantly easier than upgrading. Well, no, I think they're both about the same, obviously. But when you're putting the build together the first time, like, you'll get all of your pieces and you'll see all of your wires and you'll know where everything is, and it's just a lot easier to do it like step by step and put all your stuff together. Whereas when you're upgrading, yeah, you got to kind of watch out for that stuff. So this is a good lesson for all of us to learn that, yeah, dude, sometimes you got to make sure that you're aware and you're alert and you're thinking about things, especially if you're doing like a platform upgrade. Now, this wasn't like super serious because obviously, you know, like the checks and balances in your PC would have just throttled my CPU and like turned it down or turned off my PC or something like that. But that was pretty cool. But let's talk about now, I mean, now that we got that figured out, and I'm so grateful that you guys saw that too, because I was like going crazy because, you know, it says that these CPUs run hot, or they can run hot like at 80, 90. So at first I was like, oh, okay, that's just normal. I was literally thinking like, man, that's normal. But I was sitting here for like a good hour last night wondering, why aren't those fans coming on? So I started worrying about it. And then, you know, somebody from the community texted me and said, hey guy, hey, sometimes the fans won't work on the motherboard. So I started like checking that out and like going down that freaking rabbit hole and stuff, and that was just kind of way off. Obviously it was just a plug. But all right, now I want to switch over to like the process. How was the freaking process? Like, how did it go? How do I feel about it? So upgrading from AM4 to AM5, obviously you're going to have that anxiety, because obviously it's recommended that if you upgrade a platform, you might as well just do a fresh new Windows install. I had everything. I thought I had everything ready, my friends. I downloaded everything to a little... I downloaded a new Windows thing to the drive and everything, you know, as a bootable. And I had it plugged in when I turned the PC on, and I got into BIOS, and I was like, okay, this is the boot order, you know, and then and then it just booted right from my drive right into Windows. Normally you have to, like when you boot into Windows, it'll ask you to like put your key back in there to like, you know, see if Windows is going to actually let you switch your motherboard, or if you're going to have to pay for it. Well, they automatically did that. Like they were just like, boom, alrighty, it's good to go. And I was like, all right, so is what I'm doing. Let me tell you guys, so you don't freak out on me. I'm testing this out. Like I'm testing the stability of this, you know, like upgrading your board without doing a Windows thing. And I'm possibly only gonna do that through the weekend. Like if everything runs like good and it stays like really stable and stuff like that, I won't worry about that. But I did actually buy a whole nother key for Windows so that I could do a fresh new build and do like a whole fresh install. So I have that, and I have the ability to do that at any time. But I've got a 3-day weekend, and I kind of want to enjoy that, like testing games and doing all that stuff and playing around with this, and like kind of just getting like a little bit of experience, you know, because I like to do weird things like this. If you've been at the channel for a while, you know that I've ran both drivers from NVIDIA and AMD on the PC at the same time to see what it does to the PC. Always knowing that, like, okay, dude, I can always just re-download Windows and do that, but there is a process to that, and clearly I have a whole bunch of like different programs and stuff on the PC that I use. I need to go through and write down all my passwords and all of that stuff. That's one of the things I want to make sure that I can log into everything. I want to go in here and I want to make sure that I write down every single app that I'm using, make sure I can, you know, I mean, Windows will bring a lot of stuff back for me, but I want to be able to I want to be able to do like a whole fresh install, whole fresh new Windows and all of that stuff, and then kind of just put all of those programs on a different drive, something that I want, you know, certain programs that I want on certain drives, so that I don't have to, when I reinstall Windows, you know, I don't have to go through this stuff all the time. So there's a lot of like trial and error stuff that I'm going through right now with this, but the overall physical part of upgrading, you know, your motherboard, your memory, your CPU, going to a new platform, there is some anxiety that comes along with that. Obviously, you're going into the unknown. You've built your AM4 platform. You've been using it for a while. You've gotten comfortable with it. You know how it feels. You know the stability of it. There's a lot of freaking unknown variables of upgrading to a new platform, especially this close to the beginning of a generation and this close to the to the next batch of CPU launches. Like it's nerve-wracking, you know. If you listen to everybody on the internet, they'll have you waiting for the rest of your life to upgrade your PC. So when it comes to that, when everybody's like, oh man, you should just wait, get what you want to get. Get what you want to get. That's my recommendation. If you want to buy something, go out there and buy it. Obviously, you guys, you see me go against I do go against the grain, and I do that a lot purposely just because I want to learn. And you know, I'm not necessarily scared of you know, buying something that I don't want. Like I've got a fairly decent, you know, relationship with somebody that owns a PC shop. I buy the stuff, I get to review it on the channel, I get to play around with it for a little while, and then he gives me usually half of what I pay for it. So I'm not losing a whole lot of money on this stuff, so I mean it's not a bad thing, and you know, it kind of helps his business. It helps me out so that I can do this, and I value that relationship. I like that. So when it feels like I'm out here just blowing through a whole bunch of money buying this stuff, like I am, like don't get me wrong, like this comes out of my own pocket. Like I do pay for this stuff, but it's okay. I get to cover it on the channel. I get to make content. I get to build the freaking community, and that's cool. Like, I'm okay with that. I as you guys have seen, I don't go like super overboard. Now, I did go overboard with the graphics cards. I did. My plan is to only cover one NVIDIA and one AMD card a generation, but I wanted to see. Like, I was super curious. I want to see what the low end does. I want to see what the mid range does, and I want to see what the high end does. And now I'm working on the high end right now. I mean, I did start this generation GPUs with a high end AMD card, but I've tested everything. And to tell you the truth, I'm perfectly comfortable in like the mid range space. Like the mid range feels pretty good. I feel like that's where you get the most. I feel like the mid-range is literally where you get the most bang for your buck, both NVIDIA and AMD. Like if you got a 4070 Super for $600, that's a good deal. You get a good enough experience on that easily beats the consoles, while at the same time still providing you that pretty decent, like higher end mid-range experience on a PC. And that's good, because mid-range on a PC is like 1440p high, like ultra settings, over 60 frames a second, up to 80, 90 frames a second. Really decent, and that's pretty consistent across a lot of games. You know, or with the 7800 XT, I mean, I'm not going to say 7900 GRE, I'm going to say 7800 XT. Because the 7800 XT was an absolute monster. That thing came out and it made me so happy. Like, that was my favorite card for a very long time. I was like, yeah, I freaking love this card. And so that mid-range experience for PC gaming, I think, is good for the majority of people. I really do feel like that's where you get the most bang for your buck. Excuse me. But when you start going high end, you got to understand, like, that is enthusiast territory. You are going above and beyond what the consoles can do, and you are putting yourself in a position to where your CPU might not be good enough for that. So you got to take these things into consideration. Like with this right here, running this with going from a 5900X up to a 7800X 3D, you start putting yourself, the higher the tier and card you go, the less likely they're going to be, you know, the less likely compatibility with like older CPUs. It's going to potentially force you to upgrade your platform, force you to upgrade your CPU, force you to upgrade your power supply. Like, there's a lot of different stuff that you might be forcing yourself to upgrade by trying to shoot really high for the high-end cards. Obviously, I bought a 4080 Super. I feel like it did pretty good on the 5900X, and here this weekend, you know, I'm going to throw it back in there, and we're going to be testing it with the 7800X 3D. We're going to see if that there is going to, you know, add some more, you know, juice to that card and potentially, you know, make it more stable. It felt pretty stable on the 5900X. So I'm not expecting a lot when it comes to that, guys. I'm really not expecting to get like 50 to 100 frames more. Like, I'm expecting, you know, maybe 10, 20 frames more than what I'm already getting. And you know, for me, guys, upgrading to the AM5 platform is worth it. Obviously, I have a channel. It seems like, you know, the new platform is a little bit more relevant. A lot of people out there that have a 7800X 3D. I will not just buy like the 78 or 88 or 9800X or whatever. I will wait for like the next 3D version, because then, you know, it might be a little while before that comes out. So maybe I'll jump in there, pick that up, and we'll test that. I mean, I am trying to find a way to cut down on the overall stuff that I buy, but I also need to try to find a way to stay relevant here on YouTube. I got so much competition, and you know, it's crazy, man. But in the overall scheme of things, now that we got way off base and I'm just talking, yapping, the overall experience of upgrading from AM4 to AM5 was a relatively straightforward process. It wasn't really that hard. It gave me the opportunity to get in there, clean my PC up, do some spring cleaning on that, rerun my cables, make everything look a lot nicer. You know, it gave me the ability to clean off my desk because I had so much freaking garbage on there from all the stuff and all the books that I buy and stuff, and it was just sitting on the desk and it was starting to get like, whoa, no. So that gave me the opportunity to get that kind of cleaned up. It gave me the opportunity to make a freaking really cool video for you guys, pull out the table. I got that new table that I can put in here or out there or wherever so I can do unboxings and like builds and stuff like that. Like, I really enjoyed building that or doing that last night. Like, that's very enjoyable when you're sitting there and you've got your PC open and you're doing like these upgrades and stuff. The feeling that you get by upgrading or your parts and just how good you feel about like doing all of it for yourself and you're feeling good about it, and you're like, gosh dang, man, I don't need somebody else to do this for me. I can do it for myself, and you could put pride in that, and it's cool, man. Like, the PC space is very, very cool. Like, it is cool, but it also, once you've got a stable build, upgrading, I get it. Like, there's a level of anxiety that comes with that that just isn't, like, you don't get that with the console, man. You take your Xbox Series, you take your Xbox One X, you unplug it, you plug in your Xbox Series X, you download your freaking games, and you just go to town playing video games. On the PC, it's different, man. It is different, but it's such a unique experience. Either way you go. Like, a console experience is unique in its own ways, where you have, you know, pretty much a large library of games. You get discounts, you get a walled off garden. You don't have to worry about all the other stuff that the developers just worry about and curate for you. It's a unique curated experience for you to enjoy playing what you want to do. Less time doing other stuff and more time playing. I wouldn't say that PC requires significantly more time to get into and start playing. I wouldn't say that. But I would say the experience is a lot more unique in terms of you get to truly learn about hardware, as opposed to learning about talking points and marketing speak and all of that stuff. You get to truly understand what each individual component is going to do for your PC and for your experience. You're going to learn how to mix and match parts. You're going to learn a lot more, and you're going to be a lot better or a lot smarter for doing that. So at the end of the day, guys, I'm pretty happy so far. I've done a little bit of testing so far. I've got Cyberpunk on here right now. I was testing that. No real gains in this game that I can really tell. And I do feel like that's going to be the case in some stuff, because that 5900X was a pretty good CPU. So I will keep testing. I'll keep putting some more videos out. There will be some more videos out tonight. I just wanted to get this one out. You know, it was pretty much a thank you, let you guys know what was going on and what the plan is, at least for the weekend, or at least for the short time. So if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Anything you guys like, comments, suggestions, any of that, definitely put it in the comment section, and I will read your comments. So we'll see you guys later.